fast reader, Michael Yang. I feel like it's hard sometimes to get Mike's writing out of him, so I'm not going to say that I organize this every year to hear it. But he's one of my favorite people to talk about stories and books with. Michael Yang's stories and essays have appeared in Ploughshares, Michigan Quarterly Review, Boulevard, the Seattle Review, and other publications. He is working on a book of short stories and a novel. Please welcome Michael Yang.
Almost done, I'm last. I think it's like one of my life goals to be introduced by Sasha, so that's an accomplishment. That's like fantastic. I'm the very last person to be going up, and as a reward, you get to hear a short story that's brand new, barely edited, and right in the middle of the story. So, you guys are so lucky. Okay. No one, not even other Asians, had haircuts as severe as ours. Whenever our hair grew long, our mother would take us to the garage, perch us on a metal fold-out chair, tarp us under a clear plastic sheet, cinch tight around our necks with clothespins, and pull out the Norelco shaver. As the electric razor buzzed, she manhandled our heads to level out the sides, wrenching them as if she forgot they were attached to our bodies. In spring and fall, it was merely uncomfortable. In winter, the garage would be ice cold, the razor scraping our frozen flesh. But the worst, though, was summer. Outside might be 90 degrees, but it was at least 20 degrees hotter in the garage. Sweat streamed into our eyes, drenched our shirts, the plastic tarp trapping the heat, pasting against our bare skin. And half an hour later, we emerged, pounds lighter, with our hair like that band Devo from the poster in my brother Albert's room, with those dumb plastic domes on their head. No way I'm going back to that garage for this, Lynn said. I'll take off before I let her do that to me again. The thought of Lynn running away kept me awake at nights because he was capable of doing it. If he left, I'd be on my own, but mostly I worried because I couldn't imagine him taking care of himself. I could picture him out on the streets, cold and hungry, too stubborn and defiant to return home. Bypassing my mom's haircut for new ones from a barber had been Albert's idea. We had huddled around the laptop on his bed as he scrolled through images of Korean and Hong Kong pop stars, smoldering at the camera, maybe BTS, unblemished, baby-faced, with hair that didn't insist on hanging straight down like drapes or parting to the middle or bucking in cowlicks. Their confidence was so strange to me they could be aliens. During school photos, I did my best to scrunch myself in the approximate shape of the person in front of me. This is a light perm, Albert said. Asian hair is always trouble because it's thick and straight. See how a light perm creates volume? It allows an environment for manageable waves and textures. I nodded, even though I didn't believe any of this could be possible for me. Lynn wasn't paying attention, prowling the perimeter of the bed, fiddling with the plastic snow globes organized on Albert's desk in an approximation of the US map. I thought Lynn did this from boredom or to deliberately annoy Albert, so it surprised me when he proposed the first line of attack. Let's just do it, he said. They can't stop it if it's already done. This contribution seemed to surprise Albert as much as me, and he snapped his laptop shut. That's enough for today. Out in the hallway, Lynn stopped me. What do you think? Albert believes it, I said. I don't know why he cares, Lynn said. He doesn't have our problem. What do you mean? You ever wonder why his hair's so different from ours? I assumed my wise monk's face to hide my confusion. Why? Lynn scowled. Man, figure it out. And I couldn't. Each new information about my family only added another knot I wasn't capable of untangling. Hey, Lynn said, don't tell anyone what I said. Lynn didn't bother making me swear, because he knew I kept secrets, like when he started an after-school fight club. They would meet out in the wooded area by the fence next to the track before the cross-country team's practice. I would walk half-mile from my middle school to wait for Lynn to drive me home. That wasn't the only reason. It was a sight to see 5 to 8 freshmen and sophomores, depending on the day, grappling and punching, even biting each other, while Lynn, unless he was a combatant, refereed to make sure no one violated the rules. And Fight Club had rules. The first one, you probably know. The others were no hitting below the belt, no punches to the face, no scratching, nothing that would alert teachers or parents what they were doing. Still, with teenage adrenaline and no training, accidents happened. Every afternoon, before my parents returned from work, Lynn would be huddled in the bathroom, diligently scrubbing blood from his shirt and jeans. It all ended after a couple of weeks, which was longer than could be expected. After a clumsy scuffle, a couple of kids' heads banged into each other, resulting in cuts, and it didn't take long for them to snitch. Lynn received a 1-week suspension from school, 3 months grounding at home. When my parents asked if I'd known, I answered with non-answers and earned a week without TV privileges. But I didn't care. I had begun spending most afternoons with my new friend Zach, who had been one of the more feral members of Lynn's club. And as Albert reminded me, our parents were rarely around to enforce punishment, so it was all in an honor system. Only later did I find it strange that both Lynn and I enacted the grounding on our own. After Fight Club ended, Lynn was at loose ends until he found basketball. Like with the earlier activity, I watched them on occasion. The players would grunt, body up, circle the paint, sweat-slick bodies colliding, shoes squealing like tires banking around a tight corner, their voices cracking as they jibed and trash-talked with each other, but not to Lynn, never to Lynn, except to call for the ball even though he was as good as them, even though his tan skin closely matched theirs. They accepted him, picked him for their teams, but they never small-talked with him, and he rarely smoked to them either. If our parents found out about this new after-school activity, they would shut it down. In their minds, he should concentrate on academics, even though no amount of extra work would help him. Our parents would debate Lynn's grade at the kitchen table, often right in front of him, swapping between Chinese and Japanese with a few English words sprinkled in, how he was hopeless, what they did to deserve children, meaning me and Lynn, so lazy and only interested in TV. Their idea of our language comprehension was inconsistent. Sometimes they expected us to understand what they were saying. Other times they acted shocked we picked up any morsel of their conversation. Okay, I get it, Lynn said finally. I'm stupid. My mother looked surprised but not regretful of her choice of words. Not stupid, she said. You must try. What she didn't know was that long before basketball, before Fight Club, Lynn had spent months studying. He stopped going out, stopped watching TV. Every night he would retreat to his room. Around bedtime, long after my parents went to bed, I'd find him passed out on his desk, drooling into an open textbook. But his grades never ticked upwards, and my parents never noticed his efforts. And after a while, he just gave up. I never told anyone about this either.